Hello everyone, welcome to Close Up on America's Business, the program that takes you inside some of the most unique and successful companies in America. I'm Janice Marie. On each edition of our show, you have the opportunity to meet some of the most innovative business leaders in the country today. You'll find out what their products, services, technologies, and business models can do for you, and what they're doing to change our world and to change the way we do business.
If you want to get ahead in business, especially in real estate, it often helps to think outside the box. That's what Eric Kaiser did when he started his fledgling real estate development business some 15 years ago here in Hoboken. Today, the REMI Companies employ over 150 people, and they are busy building as well as developing projects on both sides of the Hudson River, from Yonkers down to here in Hoboken. This, for example, is called Velocity. It is a $50 million, 128-unit apartment complex being built on what once was a junkyard, and when finished will feature a 25,000-square-foot courtyard that is being designed by a world-class landscape architect. This is all being done by a 36-year-old real estate mogul who began by buying 2 rundown condos thanks to a loan from his mom, fixed them up himself, and has parlayed that into one of the most dynamic real estate development companies in all of America. His target audience, Generation X. And you know that old movie saying, if you build it, they will come? Well, in his case, they really do.
The company is a vertically integrated real estate organization. We have a development company, we have a construction company which supports that, a mortgage banking division, a title agency, and a realty company. Our goal for the company is to be the most well-respected and revered company in the development industry by demonstrating to the world our proficiencies and professionalism and ideas that will change the way the world thinks and improve upon the way people live and work and shop. And that transcends itself from the very beginning of where we started all the way to the future of what we want to do is we really would like to develop and enhance cities.
Eric, how did all this start? How did you begin?
I wanted to supply something that really spoke to our peer group, Generation X. And our buildings have components of lifestyle and amenities that other people do not find. First off is the standard branding of the building. As a market, Generation X is very brand focused, and they're focused on good quality, humble type brands, but also something that gives them inspiration. Other components that of our buildings that make it very unique are the style. We use designers from New York who are very much entrenched in the hip nature of what is new and good and lasting without it being trendy. And we also do different things that focus on the quality of life. Also, other amenities we include are in a development we're doing right now is the entire facility is wireless fidelity internet Wi-Fi. That should be more like a utility as far as we're concerned rather than an amenity. And we are one of the only buildings we know of who is offering that on the residential side.
Why did you start to focus specifically on this Hispanic market?
The Hispanic community is an underserved community with respect to financing and for home ownership. The largest demand for home ownership comes from these communities, and as I was building our development company, we were building our construction company as well, and about 90% of our labor force is Hispanic, and I had an opportunity to work with them every single day, and I speak their languages, and got to learn about the idiosyncrasies of their societies and their cultures and for what they actually were looking and their desires. And when I conceived of the mortgage bank, I clearly wanted to serve the Hispanic community simply on the merits that they need a very good, valuable resource. And since we are now the largest direct Hispanic lender in New Jersey and are working to take it national at this time.
And what about your philosophy and your interest in buildings that incorporate the so-called green element?
In January of 2005, I went to a lecture at the Center for Architecture in New York and recognized from a lecture given by Guy Battle from Battle McCarthy in London that we've been building buildings the wrong way. And we are guilty of it without even knowing. And not just us, everybody. We found that there is a better method by which we can build our buildings. So we got very much into thinking about green buildings and thought a lot about them and continually educated ourselves with respect to all these components and have designed and put forth a brand called Better, which has been adopted by the world's professions and the world's leaders in each of their categories, in architecture and sustainability and ecology and in landscape architecture and design. We've created this brand to indicate to people that it's supposed to be green is not green, but it's better, and gives you a real indication. Our objective is to have buildings that produce more power than they consume, thereby taking carbon dioxide out of the environment, to build extreme architecture to give people inspiration and create other intangibles that would not be created without it. And then to provide a building that has a higher quality of life inside, where you're physically healthier by living in the building and mentally healthier by living in the building. So all of these things wrapped up are very, very critical to us and very important, because it involves the world's best minds and will continually take on new great minds to further advance what the brand means.
And is that what you're talking about with the Yonkers project you're doing?
The power plant in Yonkers is named the Glenwood Power Plant, and we are bringing our Better brand there. It will be our first Better building, which will launch our brand. It is a functionally obsolete power plant built around the turn of the century, which has been barren since 1964, and is a wonderful piece of architecture which is located 25 minutes out of the city and is literally on the water. And this is a wonderful location. It's surrounded by a park and water, and you have a train stop, and it's this idyllic spot with this old power plant. It's just sitting there rotting. And we've been working with the city for 3.5 years in Yonkers to redevelop the site, where the ecology of the site is going to return to the status it was in the 1800s prior to it being built, without disturbing the ecology now. This building is going to generate more power than it consumes. It's going to be harvesting wind through wind turbine technology. It's going to have solar hot water collection. We'll have a biodiesel furnace. It's going to have extreme architecture. It's going to have residential apartments and condominiums and retail, and it's also going to have the Eric A. Kaiser Contemporary Arts Museum, which will operate and be part of the community in an effort to increase the cultural awareness of the world. So the whole entire component is going to be something that's going to change the landscape of the Hudson River and New York, quite frankly, and become a landmark for this type of construction.
I know you're very dedicated in what you're doing. I find it amazing, though, that you don't have television, you don't read the newspapers, listen to radio. It's business all the time.
No television, no newspapers. I'm focused on what I need to do. I have responsibilities, I have fiduciary responsibilities, and I don't want anything to take away from my goals. It takes a tremendous amount of energy and dedication to really focus, and I've dedicated my life in this obsession to create the success for the company. This is something that was started from my own volition and has been fueled by the ideas that we create, and incorporates a lot of other really great, tremendous individuals who continue to further the company's development. We have an organization of about 160 individuals now that will grow to 200 very shortly, and we expect to be around 500 next year and up to about 2,500 in about 5 to 8 years. And people love to be part of it, and they want to be part of it as much as possible, because we're constantly innovating and we're doing things that no one else is really doing. And that, for me, is very important.
The remarkable story of Eric Kaiser and his real estate development business, the REMI Companies. I'm Doug Llewellyn, reporting from Hoboken, New Jersey.
Well, that does it for this edition of Close Up on America's Business. I'm Janice Marie. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.